Thursday. I normally go on Mondays, but this week was a little difficult because everything that was going on. So I decided to jump on here tonight to give you a nice hour of the show because we have quite a bit to cover. And I want to talk a little basketball tonight because some things need to be said. So if you know somebody who wants to talk basketball, this is the show for you tonight because we're going to have some fun to talk about something that should never have been a discussion, but we're going to do Preachers Gone Wild. I hope everybody's doing okay. We're going to start the show because, whew, this weekend is going to be a doozy. I have a rehearsal tomorrow. We're doing a whole lot of full production rehearsal. Then I have one tomorrow night. Then I have one Saturday all day. So this is going to be a rough weekend for me. And then Sunday is going to be a big one, pause, but not really. So I hope you guys can stick with me, and we're going to make this thing a fun night, and we're going to go right to Preachers Going Wild, like right away. First things first, let's make sure you guys are sharing, like and share for me tonight because this is going to be a very interesting one. It's going to be a fun one. Even though we won't be here that long, we're still going to have some fun as we always do on this show. So make sure you share it. For some reason, it doesn't let me do my followers hashtag or whatever. So just help a brother out. Do me the HBO special. Make sure you share it with people so they can watch it tonight, and let's have some fun. Now, today we're going to do something different, okay? I'm going to show a video for you. And the only thing you need to do is throw up a like sign or something like that if you feel like this is like way too much. If the person I'm showing is doing too much, that's what I need. So let me make sure everything's working. I'm struggle streaming already. I need to make sure I can see your comments. How do you go to comments? Lord. Captions, design. Oh, chat. Here we go. All right. Oh, off with the bat. Doc. What's up, Ernest? How you doing? What's up, Shanette? Cuzzo. Hey, man, let me hold that bass for you weekend. Talking about this one right here. Oh, this one right here. Can't do that. That's my wife's bass. Is just sitting there. She's actually playing another Lakeland this week. So she's actually in there practicing right now. She's working on a nice little dexterity exercise that's like got me kind of scratching my head, let the dandruff let it fall off. But it's like a diminished thing coming down, whatever, however she does it. Hopefully she posts the video that she's got it down packed. But yeah, so this is her bass. I can't let you have it. But these behind me, maybe we can talk about one day. But anyway, let's get this going. So remember, I want you guys to tag, say, doing too much. Just throw up a like sign. Just make sure you throw up the likes if it's doing too much, okay? Because I got some ones I want to show you. Now, the last one we're going to discuss, but the first one up to deck, first one on deck. Sometimes, we go to the airport, and I travel with a lot of gospel artists, and I'm sure you guys by now know that I play for a gospel artist, a well-known one. And, when we went overseas one time, we landed, and everybody was so happy we landed. And it turned into a thing where everybody was just so celebrating that we landed because we were gone like a month and a half or something like that. And it was crazy how they started shouting and dancing and everything else. But when I saw this, it reminded me of that. And I think a certain way now as I did then. But let me show you the video and you can tell me if it's too much. Good God. Now, this is where you come in. Was this doing too much? or was it okay? So if you think it's doing too much, you can either leave it down in the comment section or you can throw up some likes. Me personally, let me give you my. And no, we don't have 38 bases between all of us, Jeremy. We got quite a few, but not 30 that many. We got quite a few. That's a good time if you ask me. I'm reading your comments, Ernest. This is the kind of stuff I grew up on, and them church things in the charter bus was lit. Said they singing, I'm church, put me on the plane. Everybody was shouting. The white woman was shouting, come in the room. Here's my thing. I wonder if we would still have that same thing if a group of Muslims were on there singing to their God. And that's the kind of thing I think about. Like, if this is a group of Muslims or even people who don't even worship Allah, because y'all don't know this, but relatively the same. You know, they both call Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They came from Abrahamic faith or Abrahamic religions. That's what we were taught. But if somebody got on there singing something to Satan, would you feel the same way? Would you really like their freedom to do it? And that's what I'm always thinking about. If this was something else that wasn't something I agreed with, would I be okay with it? And most of us would say no. If a group of Satan worshipers got on there and started singing their song, hell, whatever, I'm not going to even go there. But if they started saying that, you'd be like, oh, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. But I can't. And so we as believers, of course, we're going to say, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. And to us, it is. But there may have been some people on there that wasn't okay with that. So I'm thinking, the one side of me, like my cousin is torn about it. The one side of me is like, oh, it's great. Let's keep going. But the other side of me is like, I got to consider some people may not be with that. There may be some atheists on there. And yeah, the lady was clapping. And most of the time now, too, I don't know the backstory. There have been numerous times where I've gotten on a plane with my bass guitar, or we was with the group, and maybe we all wore the T-shirts going where we were going. It was like, hey, could you guys sing for us? Huh? You think that's a thing? Is there a world? And we did perform for them. So this may be that. But I also have been on occasions where they didn't ask us, or they didn't ask the people or group of people to do it, and they did it anyway. To me, if people started singing ratchet songs on there, we would all be like, oh, nobody want to hear that. Then I'm thinking the other side of me like, got to show them the same courtesy. You say they definitely be tripping on that. Hey, Cinnamon. So that's where I stand on that. So to me, this was doing too much. Even though I'm happy they had a great time, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people had a great time, but it's always that one or two that's going to start the trouble. They're singing, I can't sleep. Oh, they're harassing me. Please get the police officers. So it's always that one person. So you got to consider that. But not so much on a plane. Sometimes on a plane, we do too much. But one thing I've noticed since I've been playing them is at funerals, we do too much. Oftentimes at funerals, we will do too much. You're doing too much. This is a preacher going wild. You're doing too much. Tell me in the comment section or leave a like or whatever. Tell me, is this doing too much? And here we go. Ooh, I hope y'all ready.
They told me it was family only, but Craig was my nigga. That was my brother, bro. Hey, when I started my first club in Bakersfield, Craig said, Stacy P, I'm going to give you the money. Make sure my name is on the flyer. And we did that. Craig Hunter, hey, bro, I love you. I love you, bro. I don't even want to, put you in the grave right now, man. But we gonna do this shit, though. On East Side! East Side, Mid-City Crib!
I don't think I even have to ask you, but I will. Was this doing too much? Was this doing too much? Make sure you put doing too much or throw some likes up if you feel like this is doing too much at a funeral. Somebody said she was drunk. She said she was drunk or whatever. I'm saying she probably had like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of them too much. Like she probably was chugging them. Like while she was drinking one, the other one's being held, and then she was chugging that one. I mean, for crying out loud, did she say Crips at the end? I think she said Crips at the end. Did she say Crips? Maybe I'm hearing things. Y'all can help me out. But to me, I heard Crips. I could be wrong, but I think I heard Crips. Is there something past? No, it's just doing too much. You type doing too much. He's stupid. He says it's something past doing too much. No, it's just doing too much. To me, this was way too much, in my opinion. Y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. I hardly think I am. I think this is way too much in church. That's the thing. Like at a funeral, a funeral home or whatever, you gonna see that. But at a church, man, you can't do that. Play it back. Okay, here we go.
Hey, they told me it was family only, but Craig was my nigga. That was my brother, bro. Hey, when I started my first club in Bakersfield, Craig said, Stacy P, I'ma give you the money. Make sure my name is on the flyer. And we did that. Craig Hunter, hey, bro, I love you. I love you, bro. I don't even want to, like, put you in the grave right now, Mike. But we gonna do this shit, though, on East Side! East Side, Mid-City Crib!
And she was gangster about it, man. You cannot.
God, you can't make this shit up.
You absolutely cannot. You can't make it up. If I paid you, you couldn't. I promise you I didn't pay her. I promise you I did not pay her. She went up there and did that on her own. I'm thinking this is doing too much. This is doing too much. I don't care what y'all say. Here's another one. Now, I'm all for praying for our leaders in this country. I'm all for praying for our leaders. But something just didn't sit right with me in this next video. And y'all can tell me, based off of what you hear and see, is this doing too much?
We just thank you right now, Lord, from the east, the west, the north, and the south. You will shake America with your power and your glory. We cancel every assignment of the enemy. This nation was birthed to be one nation under God, and we are standing on the soil of the White House, and we are declaring your word. Every place that our foot will trod, you will give it to us, and we are taking the land. We thank you, oh Lord. You have brought us to the kingdom for a time such as this, and this is the time. And so we declare right now, from the capital of our nation, that America will come back to God. We will come back to God. Nothing will stop this nation. And we speak right now by the authority of heaven. You told us to bring heaven to earth. Heaven is being released through your people right now.
Okay. I always have a hard time listening to people pray when they are like Trump supporters. I'm sorry. Because nothing with him makes me even think that he even is anything remotely close to what we believe in. Nothing. And how many times from the angels coming from Africa, angels from Africa, angels from Africa, angels from Africa, all that crazy stuff. To me, this is too much. And then she spoke in tongue. Who were you talking to, ma'am? To me. He said they should catch on fire. Yeah, y'all heard the tongues. I see y'all laughing. Y'all heard the tongues. Bruh. Is it the person in the background talking? She like, dude, the tongues, it was crazy to me. My thing is this. Where's the prayer to bring this man to repentance? Where's the prayer to say, okay, God, show him your love so he can exhibit it? Show him empathy so he can exhibit it. Show him anything like being a gentleman. Show him anything, how to act like an adult. I mean, any of that you could have prayed. And for the record, this country has never been a Christian nation. Now, I know that just made some of you mad to hear, but this country ain't never been a Christian nation. This country was never meant to be a Christian nation. When they said one nation under God, here's the crazy part. The part they not telling you is During that time, God could have been anything you wanted it to be. They never differentiated between a Christian God, a Jew God, or a Muslim God. They didn't. They just said one nation under God, which is kind of crazy right after you say indivisible, but you didn't differentiate which God we talking about. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe they were smoking something that when they did that. But nevertheless, here we go. Anytime they praying on the front yard like that about, instead of praying the things that we really need from leadership, talking about show your power in this country, he doesn't need to. We need to show our power through love and empathy. What it used to, I used to think in my naive state that it used to represent. One more time for the people in the back. So, hello, son-in-law. And you are absolutely correct. Yeah, this country is never a Christian nation. We need to stop with that. And it didn't exhibit anything that would be Christian-like in its conception. Because here's the thing. If this country is a Christian nation, then they need to repent for everything that happened before it became said nation. Like displacing and the genocide they did on the Native Americans. We can go into slavery. We can go into a host of things that has happened in this country. So I'm trying to figure out at what point in history was this country ever really Christian? I'm trying to think about that. Now, this is a country I live, and I guess they said I should love it. But at the end of the day, you can't tell me, there's nothing you can tell me with the history of this nation that says that it is a Christian nation or has ever been. So y'all got y'all idea of what Christianity really is. And speaking of Christianity, I left a post. I think that was doing too much. Y'all can throw up a like and say it was doing too much. I think it was doing too much because what they represent ain't what we should. That's what I'm saying. It was really, really just dumb. But I left a post, and I'm going to post it here. And it said Israel became a country in the late 1940s after World War II. And I said, please show me in the New Testament where it commands believers in Christ, a.k.a. Christians, to support that particular country. It didn't say anything about the people. And here's my issue. People came on my post and saying, oh, you should support Israel. And it became a whole theology thing when all I asked was for you to show me in the New Testament. Because there were no Christians in the Old Testament. The Christians were in the New Testament. So show me in the New Testament where it commanded us to support the country of Israel. And the last I checked in the New Testament, it didn't differentiate. It didn't say there was, oh, you got to love the Jew above. No, you didn't. There was no Jew. There is none of that. We're all equal in the eyes of God right now through the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So if that's the case, why are we, every time Israel does something, even things that are unethical, these Christians come and say, oh, I stand with Israel. There is no way. I can show you videos. I showed some to my wife. I showed some to my friends where they are really, really going at Christians in Israel right now. And you don't have to look too far. Just run a search on YouTube on how they treat Christians over there and then come back over here and say the state of Israel you should be supporting. What they've done to those people in Gaza, what they did to my brothers and sisters from the motherland, and how they continue this escalated war with Iran, there is no way I would stand with them. And there's nothing nobody can say to me to make me believe that as a believer, I should stand with that level of whatever egregious acts they've done. Well, Ted Cruz is just one of them. So in my opinion, Israel is doing too much. War after war, they are big. And now we're in one, whether we want to believe it or not, we are in the war with Iran. I'm not sure that's where we want to be because I was told from the orange man that we weren't going to be in any wars. He was going to pull us out of this war. He wasn't going to put us in any war. America first. But last I checked, bombing Iran is not America first. And here's the thing that people like to bring false equivalencies and says, well, these other presidents did it. Yeah, they had reasonable suspicion that they had either weapons of quote unquote mass destruction. Now, I still think that was a farce. And then, every strike is not necessarily successful either. But they had reasonable suspicion. But even when his own people said they ain't there, you still did it. And you told them they were wrong. Imagine, I'm a bass player and I've been playing for almost 30 years professionally. So if I've been playing bass this long, imagine somebody who's never picked up a bass tell me, oh, that's wrong. That don't play any instrument, that don't follow music, that never read a sheet of music in their whole entire life. But they tell me I'm wrong. That's just weird energy to me. So no, my personal opinion, I don't support Israel. They're doing too much. But anyway, I'm going to go back. Now, sometimes you heard the lady speaking in tongues, right? Sometimes as preachers, they actually illustrate some things. Now, I want you guys to watch this video and tell me in this serious moment, was he doing too much? Here we go. If it ever plays. Struggle streaming.
Who among us speaks in tongues? Raise your hand. If you speak, come. Come.
Pause.
Let me get a recording on my phone. Come. The rest of you pray. This is serious business. Come, sister. You look as if you love Jesus and you love the truth. All right. You speak in tongues? Okay. Speak in tongues.
Jesus,
All right. Okay. Stay right away. Someone else who speaks in tongues, come and tell me what she said. Someone else who speaks in tongues, come and interpret.
Hold up.
You have to be honest. I'll call again. Stay where you are. Someone else that speaks in tongues, come and tell the world what she just said. Is there a hand? What did you just say? What did you say? No, what did you say? Interpret. You may return to your seat.
Okay. Was he doing too much in this moment? The illustration. When I received this from a friend that actually always sends me stuff of PGW, I went immediately to the comment section because, you know, the comment section, they never disappoint. I've been saying since day one, the comment section is probably the best thing you can go to because comment section where you find the gold. The gold is found in the comment section. That's where if you ever want the temperature of the room, you don't need to watch the video. Just go straight to the comment section because it tells you. And there were people there that were saying, oh, well, he was wrong for doing it. He was wrong for doing it. He put on blast. He put on blast. He didn't. Okay. Then there were those who said he did not. Then there was those who said, well, what was wrong here? There are some people that's still going to say he did too much because they will feel, sorry for the lady. Here's my thought. I don't think he did too much. I don't think he did too much. Biblically speaking, when you got up and spoke, immediately after you spoke, somebody was supposed to be there to interpret. That's in 1 Corinthians. You were supposed to do that. I've been in church for all these years, for decades. I was born and raised in a church that believed in speaking in tongues. In my years of living, I've never seen not one person come up and interpret. Not one. Never. Not one. And I lost count how many people out here speak on tongues. I mean, they do it all the time. I could do it right now on demand. And that's what they believe. I'm not here to shatter your beliefs. That's what you believe. You're more than welcome to hit me and say, hey, I want to jump on. I want to explain. I'll let you on here. I'll post the link. I'll inbox you the link if you're on Facebook or whatever. I'll post it on YouTube if you want to come on here. And I will extend this show for you. I'm making great time. But you are supposed to have an interpreter. And as long as I've been in church, I have yet to see anybody interpret. Now, I'm about to take you down this lane. Just sit with me, because you're going to learn something if you don't know. You're going to learn something if you don't know. I don't care if it's one person here. You're going to learn this today. The way that we speak tongues in church today, as authentic as you may think it may be, there are problems with it because there's a lack of education what's going on. Now, some people would say there's two types of tongues. I won't argue with that last one because I haven't seen any real evidence of it being manifested in a way that benefits people who are in church that doesn't know what's going on. But I do know the book of Corinthians says, if you speaking, somebody has to interpret. And it said it should not be more than one person. And why did it say that? It said that because it turns around and says, if somebody who is not a believer comes and see all these people, and all these people, they gonna say, they're mad. They're crazy. You are insane. And make no mistake about it, in some churches, some people be like, these people crazy. They hear, I mean, like, what's going on here? That's what they look like. The Bible clearly says tongues is for the unbeliever. But if an unbeliever doesn't know what you are saying, how can they be converted? And if no one in the church knows what you are saying, how can they be edified? Somebody there needs to interpret what you are saying, because if they don't, then the Bible commands you to be silent, because the only person that can understand you is you and God, assuming that you are speaking a language. Because the thing you see in King James Version, the word tongues, if you really look, it means languages. And the book of Acts actually talks about it. They spoke and people understood it. And what made it a miracle, because they said these people are unlearned. These are not book reading people. Most of these people couldn't even read. These people weren't smart. They weren't scholars. They weren't Pharisees. They were regular people, fishermen and all that. But they were speaking and everybody was like, they were amazed, because it's like, hey, we can understand what they're saying. That was the miracle. And that's what helped them convert some people that did not believe. But when you come in our churches now, you see, and nobody knows what you're saying. Now, those of us who grew up in it, this is what we used to. So in some churches, they say, unless you do that, you don't have the Holy Ghost. I am not here to excoriate these people. That's what they believe. But over here, what I've been able to understand, that if nobody understands what you are saying but you and God, why not just talk to him in your quote unquote heavenly language and let everybody else speak in the language that they know, that they are familiar with? If I go to Spain, wouldn't it be logical for me to speak Spanish if I wanted to promote the gospel? Or is it more for me to get up there? Now the Pentecostals over there be running around, jumping in pools and stuff like that. But the person that you're supposed to be trying to win over, they gonna look at you like you're crazy. They gonna look at you like you're crazy. I'm not here, before y'all go running. This is not me going at any of your people that you believe speak in tongues. They can do what they want to do, but over here, this is what I came to understand. And I don't think it's a problem me not agreeing with somebody's theological, observations or how they feel about the Bible or what they came to interpret. If I say something different than what you believe, we're enemies now? I'm a reprobate now? And that's another thing we got to stop doing. If somebody expresses something that may not align with you theologically, then why don't y'all just have a discussion? But what you would do, some of you will get in the mic and you try to blast people who have a difference of opinion. And that's not right. We shouldn't do that. Over here, I grew up Pentecostal. My eyes opened to the world of third generation coaching. So if I'm actually saying this to you, don't you think that holds some weight? Don't you think? I'm going to put something on screen for you right quick, and we're going to move on. Does anybody know who this person is right here? If you're a Pentecostal, you will know. Then you can type it in the section. If you're Pentecostal, you don't know, then wow. I'm not judging you, but wow. But I'm gonna give you a second. Somebody type in real fast who this is. I'm gonna give you like 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The man you see on your screen name is William Seymour. He was the one that started the Azusa Street revivals was in California. And at this Azusa Street, they were actually starting to speak what we know as tongues now, especially in the black church, started with this gentleman right here. This is William Seymour, right? So when he got out there and he did all of that, now, man, he was barely reading. Everything he learned from somebody else. And that man's name was Charles Parham. This is Charles Parham, who is the father, or one of the fathers, the founders of modern day Pentecostalism. This man was one of the first to speak, to talk and teach about speaking in other languages as the Holy Spirit gives utterance. This is the one in the modern era. This was one of the first ones to do it. This man, and he took William Seymour under his wing. But the method he taught was the tongues or the languages was supposed to be used to speak to people in their language so you can win them over to Christ. That's what he taught. But William Seymour got out there to LA and figured, I'm going to do my own thing. More or less. That's what it ended up being. So when this gentleman went up and saw what happened on his own, he was very upset. You'll find this. This is actually factual. And he got upset. He wrote letters about what he saw. Now, the first thing he said, which is crazy, how can you teach about Pentecostalism but you were racist? So he didn't like black people being in leadership. That was one that was in the letter. That was one. The second thing is that he said these people were running around, but he said it was like animals, wild, jumping around, doing all that crazy stuff. He did not like what he saw because that's not what he taught William in the moments that he taught him, because William actually had to be on the outside because it was mostly whites in there at that time, which was crazy. How can you teach the love of Jesus, but you don't like people because they color? You can't make this up. But that's America, the ones that need to go back to Christ. I guess this is where they want to go to. And then, so after that, now fast forward to 2025, you got people doing it all the time. I'm not saying tongues is not real, but what I will say is the Bible is clear. If there is no interpreter, let them be silent or speak to God because no one understands what you are saying. That's in Corinthians. Go look in 1 Corinthians. I'm not sure the chapter. I learned by, reading the regular way. I think it's maybe in 14. Is it 14? Somebody who knows exactly where it is, post where it is. I think it is in 14. But it speaks about how to do this. And he said he would hope that you're not like children. He said that don't be like kids. Listen, this is the way it's supposed to be done, and it should be that way. It also talks about with prophecy too, but that ain't what this is about. It's not about prophecy. This is about languages. Now, like I said, there are some people that believe there is another language. And I won't argue, but I still say it still is clear that you are not supposed to do it unless an interpreter. Oh, wait. Is that just for Corinthians? I'm sorry, because some of us believe that what happened to Corinthians should just be that. And everywhere else, it should be everything else. Right, I'm sorry. If you're one of those people that believe Corinthians just for the people of Corinth, then go have at it. But to me, honestly, it is kind of crazy to hear 14,000 people up in there speaking languages nobody know what you're saying. And I want to be edified. I want to hear it. Now, is there people that could do that? There are some people that say yes. I'm saying I've never seen it. It is 14. Thank you. It is chapter 14. Yeah. So this is, so to me, I didn't think this was too much what he did. I didn't think he was doing too much. I think he did it the way, and honestly, if more people did it this way, I guarantee you it wouldn't happen. I'm about to move on, but I need to say this. I wanted to do a test one time. I wanted to record somebody speaking in tongue one time, take it and bring it home, and then reach out to people that say they had a gift of interpretation, right? Then right after that, send them the file and have them to text me back or call me back or tell me what was said. I prefer you write it down because you can go word for word, and I want you to send it back to me. I can almost guarantee you that they are not going to say the same thing. They are not going to say the same thing. There's going to be one interpretation, another interpretation, another interpretation. And if I was to do that by the most authentic tongue talker and it didn't work, I guarantee you people still would be like, no, it's real. You can't make it up. And I'm going to tell you something about Indiana. You do that in some of these churches out here, they're going to escort you right up on out of there. They do not play that in some of these churches. You go trying to do that loud enough where Eric can hear you, they're going to be like, hey, you need to come out. We don't do that over here. We don't do that over here. If more people did it like this, the world probably get down to the real Holy Ghost sooner. Maybe. I won't argue that. That's a good point, actually. Maybe. And the way he did it, some people said it was rude or whatever. I don't think it was rude. I think it was necessary. And I feel sorry for the young lady because he said, what did you say? And the crazy thing was, she couldn't even repeat the same way she did before. That was even more mind-boggling. Like, if you would have done exactly what you did before, then you can say, yeah. But see, the thing about languages, if you speak in the tongues, and here's the thing, it still should make sense to something, even a celestial being. There are words, there are sentences, there are ways, like even the way Spanish is. Spanish, a lot of times you hear it and you be like, whoa, because they put the verb before the vowel or something like that, and the way they conjugate their verbs or words or whatever, you looking and say, oh, that's crazy. But to them, it makes sense because it's still a pattern here. If it's just and they say, what did you say? I said I was going to the store and I went in the store and that's what you got that from ba 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 ba. That sounds like the same word to me. How is that making sense? Because if somebody go room, and I'm like, okay, I caught the room. But if somebody get up and be like, yes, God is going to move. He's going to move in your favor. You got all of that from that? See, even if he was to call somebody to do interpretation and it went that way, I don't know. They words, I don't think I serve a dumb God. I think I serve a God that's supernaturally knowledgeable. And if he's going to perform a miracle, it won't be something that's so wild like that. But that's just my thought. I'm only lowly Derek. Yeah, that's right, Damien. He said if he spoke in all those tongues and nobody understood, it's no benefit. Which is why he said you're supposed to just keep it to yourself. And let me see what Brenda's saying. A person might have the gift of interpretation, but the interpretation comes from the Holy Spirit, not their understanding. I've seen it done before. Well, that makes you a first. I've never seen it done, but I still want to do that test. I'm not doubting that you've seen it done. But here's my question. If it was done in a room where people speak English, then what was it for? If it was done in a room where people speak English, then what was the point? If everybody in the room speaks English and you got up there and you spoke another language, what was the point? That would be my question. What's the point of it? I don't know. Y'all can help me out here. But anyway, in the last clip, y'all know I haven't done real talk in a long time. Y'all who followed me before, who've been here a long time, y'all know I used to do relationship stuff almost every week. I used to do relationship stuff, talk about relationships, talk about what men want, and I used to always try to help people or give my side of things or whatever, and it was great. But I haven't done it in a while because here we are. I haven't done Real Talk in over a year now, and here we are still at odds with the same things, the same topics over and over and over again. But I never thought I'd see this topic make it to the pulpit. Y'all tell me if this lady is doing too much.
50-50. Ooh, if you got to do 50-50, that means you're half of a man. Oh, they don't like. I wish I had more men here today. Because both of us got punished for when the sin came in the world. The women was to be birthing children and go through pain and go through menstrual bleeding. You can't handle that. And a man's job was to work from sun up to sundown.
So she said, if you got to go 50-50 with a woman on bills, then that makes you half of a man. This actually was preached in front of an audience of predominantly women. That's why she said, I wish it was more men up here. Let me bring this to you. A lot of men don't want to hear that. Even if you think it's true. One of the things a lot of men have said to me over the years is that they don't go to church because it seemed like it's geared towards that. On Mother's Day, you're celebrated. On Father's Day, they are chastised. On Mother's Day, no matter what kind of mother you are, they're going to lift you up. On Father's Day, they always come with if or for the real dads and everything else. That's one of the things. This is real. To get up in 2025 and say you're half of a man to pay if you pay 50-50 is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard in my life. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. In 2025, with inflation and these bills, that is crazy. And here's the thing. Are men allowed to say you less than a woman if you don't cook and clean? If I say you less than a woman because you don't cook and you don't clean and you don't take care of the house, no, show me the preacher that has ever said that and lived to tell about it in a black church. Show me that. 50% in this country right now is a lot for one person to even handle. Shout out to the men out here that can pay all the bills in the house. Shout out to you. And yes, biblically speaking, you are supposed to do that. And that is. But the problem with that level of teaching is this. If you are raising women not to be that person to submit to a man that does that, and you are instead raising them to have their own career, their own life, and everything else, then how can you then put that kind of pressure on a man when you haven't taught your daughter to be what that man would even want, what that man would even need? See, we have no problem saying the men should keep a traditional role, but we have the biggest problem with telling the woman they should keep a traditional role. See, now you're getting pushback. But you have no problem telling a man he should provide and he should do all of this. Nobody has that issue. But when it come down to the other side, you can't have a career. If I'm paying all the bills, you can't even work. You sit up in this house, you do the dishes, you do whatever, like the traditional. Now, here's the thing. The crazy thing about this is, in 2025, the traditional man is celebrated, but the traditional wife is kind of excoriated. It is. It's not. If most women, if you say today, younger women, you say, well, what are you? I'm a housewife. The lady will be like, ugh. It's a thing because it's not necessarily being taught. And this is the way it is. I'm not saying it's bad or good. It's just the way it is. It's the way it is. And I'm not against the woman going out here and getting, having a career. I'm not against it. But she is supposed to be promoting family, and every family is different. In some houses, it may be 50-50. In some houses, it may be 70-30. In some houses, the man may pay all the bills. But for you to get up in the mic and say 50-50 is ridiculous. If a man is not paying all the bills, he less than the man. This one Muslim lady, Shah Razan Ali, she said that. She said something happened in our community where men are now only valued by their ability to provide something financially. And a lot of homes were broken up because the men wasn't paying the bills. Like men don't bring nothing else but that. And that's a dynamic that happened. It started in the late 60s and then went all the way here. And it's partly, not the only reason, but it's partly the reason why we have the lowest marriage rates out of every other demographic in this country. And it shouldn't be that way. Is she saying no woman in the Bible work? I'm not sure. But she said we supposed to work. And here's the thing. As somebody that does work and I work hard for my money, I do believe a man should provide for his family. I do believe we should pay the bills. She shouldn't, for me, pay the bills, the whatever, the rent or mortgage, the electricity, all of that, that's something you should pay. But it doesn't make you less of a man, fellas, if you don't. And it doesn't make you less of a woman, ladies, if you don't cook or clean. I believe that is something for every household to discuss. How you run your house is how you run your house. That's the way it should be in 2025. Back in the day, the man paid the bills, the woman take care of the house, and they took pride in it. There was a pride in the woman taking care of the home. And there's nothing wrong with being a housewife. But in 2025, in certain circles, it is. It's unfortunate, but it is. And which is why I say it is not for one person to tell you how to do your house. You run your house the way y'all agree to. And that's the way it should be. So for me, she was doing too much. She was doing too much. And a virtuous woman in the same scripture that Maurice is talking about, yeah, she did a lot of things. She did a lot of things. And here's the thing. Should men be held accountable in church? Absolutely. Absolutely. We should be held accountable in church, but it should be equal accountability. That's all we ever ask. That's all I ever asked. Most of the time when I'm in church and they start blasting men, I get up and walk out, especially now, because I've heard it. It's no avenue you could drive down right now as it relates to men that I haven't heard many times. So if I see it being one-sided, then I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm checking out. I'm just going to check out because I don't think it's fair. I don't think that men should be put on accountability street every day. But then the second we start to express something that we're not getting, we don't like, here we get to hear the misogynist role or the male chauvinist role or sexist or this ain't the 1960s. Didn't you just say I should pay all the bills? That seems kind of antiquated. So I think she was doing too much. I mean, yeah, so they could get that money. Well, everything's about money now. That's the crazy thing. But I think the way economy is, honestly, if you are a married couple or you working to be married and y'all work out y'all finances and this the most insolvent way that y'all can make it work is for both of y'all to pitch in the equal amount, then that's for y'all to decide. That's for you. Let you decide what's best for you and your family. Not some woman that's preaching. And maybe her husband can do. But here's the thing. How many men in this country you think can make enough to take care of a family of 5 by themselves and live a decent life where, you ain't, selling EBT cards or access on Facebook? It ain't that many, believe it or not. There aren't. Contrary to popular belief. And a lot of these marriages, the way that they work, like they did back in the day, was both parties helping out in one way or another. Now, having said that, fellas, if she paid half of the bills, then she shouldn't be doing all the cooking and cleaning. You can help out. You can do something. You can help her out. Even if there's little things you can do to help her out. But there are no freeloaders here either. So if he's doing all that and battling the world to provide for you, the least you can do is cook and clean for this man. It's not that difficult. That's all I'm saying. If this was traditional, I just hope you guys, whatever. So this was that. I'm about to move on because I want to jump off of here. So if you are interested in basketball, then you can stick around because I'm about to go there right now. But if you had your fun with Preachers Going Wild, thank you, and I'll see you Monday. But I'm about to go to basketball right now because something happened and it kind of ticked me off. And it is this. This the basketball. Y'all see how I changed the screen? And I got my little sports thing going on. It kind of looked like ESPN, the knockoff ESPN. I just wanted to do that for you. Working 60 hours a week, y'all gonna have to do the math. I mean, yeah. And that's just the way it should be, in my opinion, Jeremy. Now, I'm going to play what this dude said, y'all. I can't believe we having this talk, man. We about to talk some sports. I hope you guys are interested. I'm going to try to make it quick, but this, even if you don't like sports, but you just follow a little bit, what this man said was absolutely asinine. And if you are a LeBron James fan or Jordan fan or whatever, make your way over here. Y'all need to share this because this is about to be one for the ages. Because I don't really get to talk sports that often, and this is a clip that I'm going to post on my other YouTube page, my sports page, but this needs to be said. This is crazy work. I'm going to play a little bit what he said, and I want you guys to hear it. It almost brought tears to my eyes to hear something this stupid. Here we go.
I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything. You sit here and you tell me, Allen Iverson and Charles Barkley and Steve Nash, our wasn't unbelievable. Like, oh, they can't be talked about or discussed with these guys is because this guy won one ring or won two rings or won, like, it's just weird to me. It's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he only has one ring. They don't never discuss that in their sport.
Right.
Or telling me that Dan Marino is not the greatest slinger of all time, or he can't be in the room with those guys because he didn't win a championship. They don't discuss those things.
Okay. This has got to, it's not often I have to do this, and I'm sad that I have to.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
It was insane. See, they're starting already with this culture where they say it's ring culture. I want you guys, even if you don't follow sports, to say something. Let's replace rings and let's say win culture. So I want you to say win culture is weird. Winning culture is weird. You see how stupid that sounds? For somebody in sports to say winning is weird? Then why do we play sports? And the only reason why he did this is because he knows statistically, or with the team that he has, he cannot catch somebody who's above him who has 6 championships, but no losses, but 6 championships. So now ring culture is bad. It's bad. It's now you're telling me that these people are not great because they haven't won a ring. Let me say this. Who in their right mind says Charles Barkley is not great? Who? Who in their right mind is saying that, who else? Peyton Manning is not great. Who in their right mind is saying Barry Sanders is not great? Or Dan Marino, assuming that you know him? Nobody ever said that these guys weren't great. They don't give Nike gym shoe endorsements to scrubs. Charles Barkley had quite a few shoes. I had one. Damian, you remember me having my Charles Barkleys? Pippen had shoes, even though he was the second player. Something else stupid that was said. I mean, these people are so goofy. It makes no sense. Greatness is not defined by championships. It's not. If you're a great player, you'll be great, regardless. That much I agree. But he's lying and saying people saying you can't tell me. Nobody ain't saying it, so nobody's telling you. Nobody's saying that. But to be the greatest, Abasha, to be the greatest, you need championships. And why? Because being the greatest means you faced other greats and came out on top. Basketball, he said something later, well, basketball is a team sport. Let me kill that right now. There are certain sports where individual accolades really don't amount to that much, baseball being one of them. Because if I'm a great hitter, then my impact on the game is only minimal because I only bat once at a time. And at most in a Major League Baseball game, you're only going to bat maybe 4 times, maybe. So you don't really have that much of an impact like you would a pitcher who can control the game, but they only pitch 1 game out of maybe 5. So in a World Series, the pitcher may pitch twice. He made 2 games. So overall, baseball is a little different. Football to a certain degree too, because the one person that they talking about, which is Tom Brady, he had the most impact because he's the quarterback. The quarterback is going to touch, pause in advance, the ball more times than anybody on the field on offense. Everything starts with him on offense. So I can see why people say Tom Brady is the GOAT. Even though I don't call him the GOAT, I say he's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. But I don't call him the greatest football player because he never played defense. So how can I say he's the greatest football player when he never played defense? I say he's the greatest quarterback. See, you can do that in football. But in basketball, soccer, hockey, where you on the field or the ice all the time, one player can have the most impact on top of everything. Indiana lost that game because they lost their best player. That one player, in my opinion, would have made an impact in that game. Would they have won? Maybe. But it would have been an impactful contribution from that player. And so when he went down, everything changed. That one player. There have been many times where Kobe Bryant has taken over a game. And because of him, they won. You take Kobe Bryant off of any of those championship run teams, they don't win. Off of any of them. Especially the 2009, 2010. They don't win without Kobe. No way. He's the MVP. That's why they give you the finals MVP, which is another thing you leaving out. The finals MVP for all you Robert Horry fans. Robert Horry never won an MVP. So don't put him in the conversation and say, oh, he got 7 rings. But how many MVPs does he have? 0. So that counts. That eliminates him. Then you want to go to Bill Russell. I can give you 12 reasons why Bill Russell ain't included in this. 12 off the top. You want to know? 12 Hall of Famers. He played with more Hall of Famers than anybody in hitting basketball history, modern or all time. He played with more Hall of Famers. So every other time he was passing the ball, it was to a Hall of Famer. Of course you're going to win 11 championships. Why not? If every time I get the rebound, no matter I can close my eyes and throw it to somebody in green, they're a Hall of Famer? So rings is a thing. It is. It says championships. It says wins. It says out of all these great players, when you faced me and my team, we won. We beat you, and it was because of me, the MVP. That counts for something. And if you are the greatest, that counts. And here's the thing. With Michael, it wasn't even close who the MVP was. I know some of you Pippen Knights want to say Pippen. No, it wasn't even close. You can't name one finals that was ever played where Michael Jordan didn't show he was the best player on the court. You can't. You can't. He leads in playoff points per game. You can't. So winning now, you got these people like Gilbert Arenas, and they saying, oh, well, it is toxic. It is a toxic thing because now you're saying these people are not great. And then they go at people like myself and they say, oh, you never played the game. You never played NBA basketball. So what do you know? See, that's dumb too, because some of the greatest coaches in history never played a Never got on the court in the NBA. This guy is Chuck Daly, the Detroit Pistons coach, who had arguably the best defense I've ever seen in my life. The Detroit Pistons of the 80s, late 80s and 90s had the best defense I ever seen. Then you had this guy. Where he at? This is one LeBron's coach. This is LeBron's coach. Never played basketball. But he won championships. So this dispels all this junk talking about you need to play NBA to understand. No, you don't. Only thing you have to do is be a student of the game and read and understand basketball. It's not like it's rocket science. I mean, for crying out loud, some of the people who are mentally challenged can play this game and play it well. So there goes that. My cousin said Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly is not mentioned in the greats. He's never going to be mentioned in the GOAT discussion. And you want to know why? Because Jim Kelly never won. How do you go to 4 Super Bowls in a row and don't win? You never hear his name. Y'all probably never heard of Jim Kelly. I wish I had his picture. You probably wouldn't know him. You fell over him in the street. So why does rings matter? Why do they matter? Why does it matter to have rings? Well, for LeBron, he wants to control the narrative. As long as he can take rings, because that's what most Michael Jordan fans say, hey, he's 6-0 in the finals. So if you could take away that, he thinks that that's going to top him. That's going to top MJ. Which is funny, because even if we take away all the rings, even if we take away all Michael Jordan's rings, right? Still has more MVPs, still has more, I think, more All-Star MVPs. I think he might not, but he definitely has more Defensive Player of the Year. He has more scoring champions than him. He's been on more all defensive teams. He's done, what did he? MVP, Finals MVP, defensive first team. He did that 4 times. How many times has LeBron did that? None. Michael Jordan is the only person in history to win Finals MVP, MVP of the regular season, defensive team, and the scoring champion. He's the only person that's done that. The only NBA player in the history of NBA to do that. To be the Finals MVP, to be the regular season MVP, to be the scoring champion, and on first team all defense. If we took away the rings, he still would be better. The argument makes no sense. We need to listen. It's okay to be great and not be the greatest. It's not. It's not a bad thing. You're mentioned among the greatest. And the Brontards will tell you you're a hater if you just don't say he's greatest. Who's your greatest basketball player? Greatest basketball player? Yeah, Kareem. Who's your greatest NBA player? Michael Jordan. I think he's the top in NBA. Overall, it's Kareem by far. It's not even close. But in NBA, it's Michael. It's not LeBron. My top 5, especially now, is NBA, Michael, Kareem, Kobe, Magic, Bird. And that's it. That's my top 5. And ain't too many basketball players, if you know the game, can't top that. You can't say that's whack. Because LeBron's not there, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna jump off because I gotta rehearse. Let me say this. If I was the Lakers owner, that would tick me off. And you want to know why? Because the Lakers organization is synonymous with winning. The Lakers and the Celtics have the most banners hung with championships than any other franchise in the league by far. There are no other organizations that even come close to the championship banners that the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics have. So for you to be part of one of the storied franchises in the history of NBA basketball, and to say rings, pretty much, he didn't really say rings don't matter, but you pretty much diminished You diminished what rings represent with your statement. If I was the owner of the Lakers, we would have a long talk. And it might end with you going somewhere else. Because the Lakers are about winning. Kobe Bryant said that they don't hang divisional championships, divisional banners. They don't hang conference. They hang championship banners in LA. I agree. Which brings me to this. The disrespect that they are giving to Kobe Bryant, who's no longer with us, is unimaginable. To tear down this man's legacy because you want to uplift somebody who didn't earn it. That man bled for his team. That man played when he was extremely hurt. Some of us would have been on the sideline. This man still played. This Kobe Bryant was the epitome of winning. And you mean to tell me somebody who's never won a championship like Tracy McGrady, the only player I know that was that great and lost a 3-1 lead in the playoffs, 3-1, that's going to say, you put me on that Lakers team, we winning. No, we not. Because unlike you, Kobe played defense. You can't, Tracy McGrady was possibly one of the worst defenders on the wing. And you mean to tell me that you could have won? No, you couldn't. You didn't have Kobe's heart. You didn't have his tenacity. And you definitely would not have won in 2010. You would not. And when I look up at sports, I like to follow sports too, as well as the news. I do not like the way they're doing Kobe Bryant right now. It's disrespectful. Get this man his flowers. He earned it. LeBron is still great. He's always going to be great. As far as stats is concerned, cumulative stats, that man is number one by far. He loading up stats, including turnovers. And what was that? The lowest, what's that, plus or minus? He has one of the lowest plus or minus in the history of the game. People are not talking about that. Turnovers, because it's all stats. Man, I'm going to say this. Stats mean nothing if you're losing. And all the GOATs knew that. Michael Jordan could probably play a bad game. I remember one game he was having, it was real bad. But he turned it on, it was time to win. I was watching the game recently when they played Orlando, and they was losing. They were losing, right? That year they swept them. They were losing. Michael Jordan turned it on, scored like 21, something like that, points in one quarter. The greats could do that. I still haven't seen LeBron really in recent years take over, which brings me to this, and then I'm going to go. If it wasn't about rings, then you wouldn't have said not one, not two, not three, not seven. Why'd you leave Cleveland? Why did you go to Miami? Why did you leave Miami, come back to Cleveland, blow up that team with the young people that they had? You blew that up, brought in Kevin Love and these other players. What was that for? Then you left Cleveland, went to LA and blew that team up, brought in AD. Then you turn around, bring in Carmelo, Rondo, Westbrook, Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Jesus Christ. You brought all these people to LA for what? It would have been different had he said, looking back in retrospect, I believe this. Maybe he said that. If he would have said that, I did all of this, looking in retrospect, nah, I still would have been great without the ring. I probably would be like, you wouldn't. It's about rings, about winning, but I get it. But to say what you said after what you did, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I refuse to give him a pass on that. That's whack. Y'all can tell me what y'all think. Leave your comments down below. LeBron versus Celtics in the playoffs, year 2 in Miami. Well, you're saying that's when he actually played or something? I remember the game he scored 45. That was good. And I thought that was the LeBron we was going to see from then on. Because he came out, man, you could see it in his eyes. That's the one out of his whole 20 years playing, I've only seen LeBron be that killer once. Once. And it was that game. I might go watch it. But it was that game. Game 6. They were about to lose. Game 6. That man came up in there, scored 40-something points. And it was already from the tip off, he was on one. That's the LeBron I thought I was going to see. But that's not what we see. The man disappears. This year they could have won, but they lost because LeBron didn't show up. That's why they lost. Exactly, Ernest. That was the toughest I seen him play. That was the toughest. And I think that's what I was hoping to see, but that's not what we've been seeing lately. 2018, LeBron was different in that he was more aggressive offensively than I've ever seen him. When he was in Miami, he had Wade and he had Bosh, so he still had people to kick it out to. When he went back to Cleveland, I think that was good for him as far as how he was able to approach the game more aggressively. So we saw a more aggressive LeBron James who was willing to go to the rim. He's never really been a lights-out shooter, but he could get to the rim with his strength and athleticism. So I was glad to see him doing that. But in big moments, he shies away. He doesn't have the killer's instinct that Kobe did and Jordan did. He didn't, or Magic, or definitely not Bird. He didn't have it. He just did not have it. And I don't think that was his. People say that's not his game. But if you're going to be the greatest of all time, that has to be your game. Your team has to be like, we need a bucket. We need a win. It's 5 points. We just going to keep feeding you. Swing, swing. Swing, swing. Not when you're looking for stats. Not when you're trying to eclipse Kareem. We need you to bring us home because we want to win. Because you getting Kareem points and you breaking these records, that's only for you. That don't benefit us if we looking up at the scoreboard and you lost. Didn't they lose that game when you broke Kareem record? So at the end of the day, it don't really matter. Because at the end of the game, you lost. That's all the thing that matters is winning. And rings is synonymous with winning. And that stuff, rings don't matter, or deflecting, that stuff losers do. I'm going to do more sports shows, I promise you. But that's stuff what losers do. And that's the crazy thing. People don't know. I used to, when he first was in Cleveland, I used to use Cleveland with LeBron when he was like a rookie. That was the team I went to. I would play. And I don't dislike LeBron. I just hate his antics. His antics they annoying. Like, dude, Jordan lived rent-free in this dude's brain. And he sends out his millions that he pays to go out there and spin his narratives. Jordan never had to do that. He never had to do that. I said ESPN pay me. Look, they can. I love to get on there and go there toe-to-toe with any of them. With Gilbert, with all these dudes think they know X and O's. I know X's and O's too. I do. I know the game. I've been watching it since I was 3 freaking years old. I know the game. My father taught me well. My cousins all played. I played. We know the game over here. And one thing I do know, LeBron is great, but MJ's the greatest. Y'all have a good one.